Mama, ooh. That's a great song. Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome to another session of Let's Talk by Interlingua. As usual, I am Mike Reese and I am your host for the night. And today, it seems like a simple topic, but there's a lot of details to cover because every single person has a different situation with their mother. Feel free to write in the comments what's yours. And also be sure to tell us if you can relate to some of the stories that we are going to share because this is going to be a very special show. Because some of us who are going to talk have a very special relationship with their mother. And one of the guests, it's a mom. I think this is the first time we have a mother in this show, and she just happens to be one of our colleagues. So I'm pretty excited about this. Remember, before we begin, be sure to tune in and feel welcome to share our link to help us reach more and more viewers. So let's get this started. Let's bring out our guests. Normally he's in the controls, but now he's joining us. Eric, what's up? And also Danny, making her debut here in Let's Talk. How's it going, guys?
Hi,
Hello.
Mike. Everything's
Very
cool?
well, thank you.
Hey, so this is the middle of the week, Wednesday night. It's time for the Let's Talk show. And this is quite a topic, guys. Motherhood. Mom. A very heavy word for some of us. In my particular case, it means a lot to me. And for our viewers, I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit inappropriate, but just to set up the mood, set up the atmosphere. I don't know if you guys can see my ink over here. Well,
Nice.
it's to share you guys and for our viewers. This is actually, of course, is the Virgin Mary, but I did it as a tribute to my own mother, since I just happen to have a deep relationship. I was raised by a single mom, and I owe everything to her. I love her to death, and oh my God, I'm turning red right now. I'm sorry. Somebody stop me, please. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. So, without further ado, that's my situation. Now, let me check about yours. Starting with Eric. Please tell me, my friend. As I understand, you have been living, well, you lived for quite a while in your mother's place. What was that? What was that like?
Yeah, well, um, my parents divorced when I was, I don't know, like 13,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And when I finished high school, I moved in with my mom.
Okay.
I was 19, I believe, and I stayed there until I was like until 2019, 33. So I lived with her for 14 years. Um, and I mean, we have always had a very good relationship. I think she's not like other moms who want to control everything their children do. No, she always gave me my space. She always gave me my freedom. Many people were actually surprised, no, when they knew that I was still living with my mom in my 30s, no. And I always told them, like, well, the thing is that I don't have any reason to leave. I can do whatever I want whenever I want. And we have a very good relationship because people usually leave home because of some friction with their parents or any problems that they have, which I
Uh
didn't.
huh. Uh huh. Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
And I mean, as I understand as well, you no longer live with her. But
No.
how do you continue your relationship with her? Do you call each other regularly? Do you see each other? How do you maintain that bond?
I see her every week.
That's nice.
Once a week, I go to her place and we chat, maybe play some board games, catch up,
Mm,
gossip,
of
all
course.
these things. Yeah, she's like a very good friend.
Can I ask, and this will make sense, well, let me explain why. Uh, part of my part of the success of the relationship that I have with my mom is because she had me in a very young age. She had me when I was 20. So technically, technically, we don't have that much of a difference speak in terms of age comparing to a regular family or a regular mom and son. And I think because of that, we understand a little bit better, or we could understand each other in a very cool way. Was that your situation as well, or or maybe the age difference is quite wide?
No, it's the opposite. My mom
Mm-hmm.
had me when she was 31.
Okay.
So so right now she's 67. So the age difference is big. But I think we always had a very good relationship despite that. I mean, obviously, like interests and things, those are completely different. But but the relationship is still good.
Can you give me an example of those differences? Like, what things do you like that she maybe doesn't, and vice versa?
Yeah, for example, I used to play metal music, no, and she was like, "What the hell? What's that noise and stuff?" And um, sometimes she would hear that kind of music somewhere else, and she said that, "Oh, I have heard that one before," but not that she liked it, not really, but she was able to recognize some songs and stuff.
Okay.
Um, Video games. Um, well, when I was a young boy, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years old, my grandfather gave us a Nintendo, and she used to play with me. But then she started to play on her own when I was at school. And when that happened, she stopped doing anything else. She was all morning playing video games. So one day she decided that it had become a problem and she stopped. And then she prohibited me from to play video games. So I couldn't play video games at home. I had to go to a friend's house or the arcade or something. When I was a child, when I was older, that wasn't an issue.
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly
Mhm.
what you mean. I was, I mean, technically I was a good student, but I was a naughty boy. And I'm a mid 90s kid. So everybody wanted a Nintendo 64, everybody wanted a PlayStation 1. And many of my friends had them, and I wanted one as well. And because of my behavior, she was like, "No, you're going to be worse. You barely do the homework, so don't, no video games for you." And I'm like, "Ah, please, no." And till this day, if she says no, it's no. That's the only thing that hasn't changed about her. I mean, of course, me getting older, me getting out of the house, she had to understand a lot of things. But till this day, I can't beat her in a disagreement. It's not happening. So I understand exactly what you mean. It's not a problem for me anymore. I have my console and everything. I'm responsible for the things that I earn, so I can play video games guilt free. But back in the day, I know exactly what you went through. So now, making her debut, Danny. Once again, for our viewers, she is a mom. Not only she doesn't only have one, but two, two kids, who probably are going to make cameo appearances during the Tonight Show, which I think it's perfect. So it gives you character development, if that means anything here. But tell me, at what time, what at what stage in your life you became a mom?
I was 29 when I got pregnant with my first child, who is
Mhm.
now 10 years old, almost 11 this coming January. And then 4 years later, when I was 33, I had my second one, who is now 6 years old, about to turn seven. He's a boy. So, yeah, I was pretty much close to what Eric was telling us about his mom, in the regarding the age difference. It's pretty much that with me and my kids.
In what way you have managed to relate to your kids? Because as I understand, they have different personalities from one another. So how do you get closer to each one?
Okay, with my daughter, well, I guess with both of them, even though they're super different, they're opposites. I try to first of all listen to them, just listen to what they're going through, what they're feeling, their time at school. Like my daughter, the very first thing she'll do after school is tell me about her day, her friends, the boy she likes. So to me, the main goal here is for them to trust me, and so that's how I can relate to them, and obviously let them understand that despite the difference in personality between them and me and each other, doesn't matter. I mean, the main thing is it is okay to be different. You don't have to like the same things or behave the same way, because we're all
Of
different.
course.
Yeah. So that's how I try to relate. My daughter is super girly, which is the opposite to me. I was raised among boys, so I'm a tomboy. I used to play with Hot Wheels. I had my Caballeros del Zodiaco collection. I'm a huge fan of comics. So, because that's what I grew up surrounded by. And my daughter is totally the opposite. She'll play with Barbies, Barbie dolls, and you know, more girly stuff.
Of
Polly
course.
Polly Pockets, I think they're called,
Yeah.
which used to exist when I was a little girl, but I never played with those because I had other interests, and which I appreciate were respected, and they allowed me to be the way I was. And so that's what I'm trying to do with my kids. Obviously, the tough part is setting limits.
Of course.
That is the difficult part. But my daughter, she knows that she can trust me and tell me about anything she wants. She can ask me anything, and I'll have no problem answering any sort of questions. And with my son, there is a little bit more challenge because, well, he's pretty active and he loves to produce and make sound effects. So in very few words, he's probably the noisiest kid I've ever met, known. And so So it's a hassle sometimes to get him to understand that there are places and times, there are moments and people that you can do some things with, and that's the challenge right now. But we can play for hours, and it's super funny. He's really, really, really creative with his comments, with his games, the way he plays. He's really amusing, has no interest in school whatsoever, which is the opposite to my girl, who is the teacher's pet, and like, oh yeah, you know. So that's how I try to relate, by understanding that they're both very different, but they can trust me anytime. And that's how it's been working, kind of, I guess.
You said that he was 7 and well, he is 7 and she's 10, right?
He's about to turn 7 this coming
Oh,
October the 10th. That's his birthday. He'll turn 7 years old. And my daughter, yeah, she's 10, and her birthday is this coming January. So yeah,
so
it's
she's
10.
she's turning 11 pretty
Yeah.
soon. She's entering puberty. How do you feel about that? Are you mentally prepared to the common outcomes that kids normally go through that age? Because I mean, I'm not qualified to talk about parenthood, but as I understand, that's when a lot of changes go inside of them in terms of
Yeah.
behavior, questioning themselves. I mean, the preview of teenage, teenage, the teenage part of their lives. So, how do you think you will handle this change in
I
your
don't
daughter's life?
I really don't know, because that's very unpredictable, since
Okay.
personalities are kind of getting shape.
Hmm.
It's sometimes hard to tell what their behavior will be like, uh, what things they will be interested in. I don't think as a parent you are ever prepared for that stage in your children, because you don't know what's going on with them. They don't know what's going on, so it's pretty confusing. Um, I think I'm prepared to support my kids. I'm prepared to try to listen to them the way I've been doing, and just guide them into what's good for them and what's not, you know? And
Okay.
I don't know, like, they know that if they have questions, they can come ask me or their dad. But I don't know, this boyfriend thingy, like, I like this guy. That is already happening with my daughter, and I think I've been handling pretty well. I will not give my opinion. I will just listen to her and just go like, and what do you think? And did you like the way he said this? Things like that, so that she comes up with her own conclusions. And
Mm,
that's what I've been trying to do. And with Gustavo, my son, I don't know. I'm not prepared, to be very honest. Whatever comes, I'll be here for him. I'll do my best to be for him. You know, but I don't know. I'm scared. It's scary. It's
I would
terrifying.
be too. I would be too.
Yeah,
I would be too.
it's fun.
Which
You know,
brings me to my next question. I mean, uh, was being a mother, maybe let's turn back the clock a little bit to maybe when you were a teenager, when you were maybe your daughter's age.
yeah.
Was being a mother always in your plans, or it's just something that happened and you just went with the flow?
It was something. I mean, as a kid or teenager, no way. I was more focused on spending time with friends or playing video games than on becoming a mom and taking care of kids and cleaning the house. And I don't know, that changed when I started working, I guess, when I was in my mid 20s.
Okay.
I was probably like 25 or 6 ish when I said I would really like to be a mom, like to have kids. which came as a surprise to pretty much everybody I know because of the way I am or because of my personality.
Of
I'm a
course.
video game lover, and I was a homeboy. I had no, I didn't seem like a mom, like nobody would think that Danny would have kids one day. And when I spread the news, they were like, "What?" So yeah, that came as a surprise. But I do remember I did want them, and I always wanted two, and I always wanted like boy and girl, and that's what I got. I've been getting everything I've wanted. So yeah,
There he is, the before mentioned
the middle one.
Gustavito. Oh my.
Yeah.
Making the first appearance. I think that's
Yes, of
beautiful.
course, we'll be here
Or
whispering, "I love you, mommy,"
oh,
because he likes attention. He knows there's a camera here, so he likes it.
let him treat himself as much
Yeah,
as he can.
that's what we
It's wonderful to have
do.
him. It's wonderful to have you. So
Thank you.
let him have fun. For us, it's
Sure
okay.
thing.
It's for us. It's wonderful.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I love that. Also, first time. Let me tell you, first time that not only I think we have a mom here, but also the first time that a kid is making an appearance. In this
There you
case,
go.
yours. Normally, we have cats. We have dogs. In the
Uh-huh.
case of Eric, we even have ghosts making
Those
appearances
are
in the
fun.
show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But not when I'm in the middle of the night. But I've managed to pull myself through that. But coming now back to Eric, I've been meaning to ask you, my friend. So far, we've talked about, well, your relationship with your mom.
Hmm.
But let's take a look at the other side of the coin. Let me explain myself. I love my mom, no questions asked, but I wasn't necessarily the best kid all the time. Like, I really made her go through some headaches. You know what I mean? How were you as a kid? How do you think, did you have a did you have problems relating to your mom at an early stage of your life, or maybe in your teenage years?
Mm, well, in my teenage years, I lived with my dad, so
Okay.
I didn't really see my mom. But when I was a kid, I was hyperactive. I had a lot of energy, and I was always running here and there and climbing things. And I mean, there are many anecdotes, So my mom was always worried for my well-being
Okay.
because I did stupid things. There's this anecdote which I remember clearly. I was, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years old. And well, in that time, TVs were big and heavy. For some reason, I wanted to pass behind the TV. So I just pushed it because I was a kid. So the TV
Okay.
started to fall to the front, but I
Mm-hmm.
reacted very quickly and I jumped and I grabbed the TV on top, and then I stayed there. It was perfectly balanced. No, the TV was like this and I was hanging on the other side, and I just yelled like, "Mom!" So she ran to see, and then she was like, "What are you doing?" No, so I don't know. I don't know if she was annoyed by that because I think I yelled "Mom" like every 10 minutes because something was wrong. No, I maybe I climbed a ladder and then I couldn't go down or something. I had a lot of accidents when I was a kid. I have scars on my hands and here on my chin. You cannot see it because of my beard, but I have a big scar here. Many things.
Ouch.
So, so I think that was the issue when I was a kid. I had too much energy and I didn't care if I would be okay or not.
Were you that way at school as well? Maybe in
Of course,
elementary?
yeah, of course, I was like that, and I ran and we used to fight. No, we used to organize like, okay, now you and you, and then you
Oh,
go, and just because, no. So yeah, I don't know if you remember the anecdote that I wrote for the topic of school at Let's Talk. That my friends and I invented this
yes.
sport called Cerdogol, which basically was like
Yes.
soccer without rules. You could grab the ball, push each other, kick each other, whatever. So yeah, kids were hurt.
Was there a time that you did something that really worried your mom? In my case, there were plenty of occasions. What about you, man?
Hmm,
For
that
instance,
really
one
worried
time
me.
I
Sorry,
went
sorry.
back home and I was also a very active kid, and we were playing Encantados back in elementary school with my friends and everything. And so I was running so fast that I tripped, and my face hit the concrete, but the concrete was very rough. So I was like,
Oh,
and I wounded myself in the chin, in the cheeks, and part of the forehead. I looked horrible. And when I got home and she looked at me, oh man, I even feel guilty for just remembering it. She almost cried, like, "What happened to you? What are you doing?" And I mean, of course, at first she was sad. Then, like 3 Doritos later, don't do that again. What are you thinking? Are you crazy? No, she's like that. She's like that. Did you have something like that? Has that did that happen to you? So,
mm, well, avalanchas, these things. Um, I
okay,
went to a birthday party, a classmate's birthday party,
all right.
and where this person lived, the street was steep. It was really steep.
Hmm.
So we started to go down with the avalanche and stuff. And when my turn came, somebody threw a rock which hit the wheel. So it went like this, and I went face first. Fortunately, I didn't hit my face because I rolled, but my back and my legs were really, really hurt. I couldn't see it, and I didn't care. I just kept playing. But then when my mom took me home, I was like, "Oh, it hurts." No? So she checked like, "What happened to you?" And then she put my shirt up, and the same thing, like, "What happened? What did you do?"
Of
No,
course.
I told her everything, and I mean, I couldn't see it, but she said that my whole back was like purple. So
Oh my!
so yeah, that was the thing.
I guess boys will be boys, right? Damn. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Well, glad that you're okay now.
And
Mm.
me too.
Oh man, I was even worried. Like, really, that happened? I mean, what? But you came back in one piece, and we're all happy about it. Thank you so
Fortunately.
much for sharing that, man. Now, Danny, you have shared some information about your personality. So,
Mhm.
What I want to ask you now is, because this is a very common situation, when we are young children, teenagers, we always go through this rebellious stage that my parents, they're lame. My parents, they don't get me. I will never be like my parents. But now that you are a mom yourself, are there any attitudes, or has something ever happened that you stopped and thinking, oh my God, thi- I'm just like my mom now? You know what I mean?
All the time, Mike. All the
Oh,
time. I feel possessed sometimes. Somebody get me an exorcist. Um, Not that my mom was a bad mom at all, you know. I also have like a really really close relationship with my mom, but I don't know. Sometimes when I'm scolding my children, when I'm yelling at them, when I don't know, when I'm upset, I
okay.
totally turn into my mom. I can even hear her own voice inside me, you know. It's horrible. And when I do realize, I'm like, no, no, no. Let's focus here. So I'm trying to break the pattern, you know.
Of course.
Um, but sometimes it's inevitable to have some behaviors or to say things just the way moms do, especially Latin or Mexican moms. You know, like we have our own vernacular, we have our own vocabulary.
Of
So
course.
and sometimes I'm just saying phrases and saying words, and I'm like, I'm such a mom. But
Oh,
but yeah, it happens. It happens.
do you remember a time in particular that maybe you were like, I don't know, uh, talking at your kids, telling them not to do some stuff, and you did like a very long pause because you realized that maybe you said or did something exactly as your mother would?
I remember almost every day, Mike. No, but I remember this particular time, you know, with my son and
Mm-hmm.
with his trouble at school because he won't listen to instructions, or he's just not willing to do anything at school. He doesn't like it. He has made that clear many times. And so I've been trying to find ways to get him interested in it, you know, but sometimes I just lose it and I can go like, you know what, this is your only obligation. It's the only thing you are supposed to do. So there is no TV, there is nothing, you have no rights until you do what you're supposed to do, you know? And I say it with my mother's tone of voice, you know, and so it brings me back to those days when I refused to do homework, for example. I was not hyperactive. I was not a troublemaker at all. I just refused to do homework. That was just like, I don't need homework, so I'm not doing it, you know? And so history repeated. And yeah, sometimes I find that I am telling my children stuff that my mom used to tell me, and I do make long pauses, and I'm like, no, I will approach you differently, you know. There was this other time my daughter, I was saying something to my daughter, and she answered back to, well, in my opinion, in a rude way.
Of
And
course.
I said something like, you listen to me, you and I are not the same, you know? And that's something that my mother told me once, and I learned my lesson. I mean, she didn't hit me, she didn't do anything. Those were her words. You and I are not the same. And so when I said that to my daughter, it totally, you know, like this Ratatouille movie, that Ego is eating something that takes him back in time. That happened to me when I said, well, you and I are not the same. It just took me back to that moment, and I said, "No, okay, so yeah, we're not the same, but we'll figure something out to solve the situation, to clear things up." So yeah, it happened quite often. Yeah.
What were the things that got you the most in trouble with your mom when you were probably a kid?
That I was antipathic. I just didn't want to do stuff, like I
Okay.
used to like clean my room or do homework or things related to, I don't know if authority, but my duties, like I refused to do my duties. That's what I would think, or say, that got me in trouble the most. And that I was such a crybaby, so I cried about everything loudly. So yeah, my mom would sometimes get embarrassed because I did it anywhere. I mean, supermarket, any place would do. So yeah, that my mom would get really upset, like, "Why are you crying? Why?" So yeah, but other than that,
Did uh-huh.
nothing else.
Did any of your kids inherited that way of handling frustrating situations?
Yeah, of course, both of them. Why not? Because karma.
Oh,
So yeah,
oh, damn!
and I will go like, "Can you please do your homework?" And they will go like, "Papa,
No, 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 no!
why are you so unfair? Why are you making my life so miserable?" I'm like, "I'm a mom. That's what moms do. I'm sorry." So yeah,
Oh,
they both did. They cried about everything
you
basically.
you mentioned something that really stuck with me. That's what moms do, and when we are at that age, when we are at school or getting out to the world, we sometimes don't get it. We don't understand that sometimes we can be a drag, and sometimes what they say to us, it's for a greater good. It's for our own sake. So that brings me to this, Eric. What has been the biggest thing you have learned from your mother?
Um, the biggest thing I think that change is inevitable and that we have to
Okay.
learn how to deal with it. Because I mean, she went through a lot of things in her life before and after I was born, and she explained those things when something bad happened to me, and I was like I can't handle this or something. She just taught this to me. She explained like, dude, things happen, things will change, nothing will stay the same forever, not even the bad things. So don't worry. No? So I think this is something that she taught me when I was a teenager,
Can
which
you
I
remember
really
a
appreciated.
Can you remember a time that this advice made you pull through a situation?
Yeah, of course. I mean, many situations. Every time something bad happens, like the pandemic, for example. No, that's like
Of course.
the recent example. No, everything changed. Everything, everything got closed. Uh, we stopped having like classes, so we stopped getting like money, and then we had economical problems. But then we pushed through. We did whatever we could. No, instead of just like wallowing in your misery, do something. No, change it. I mean, there are some things that are out of your hands which you cannot control, and they will change, but you can also change things. So, so I think that's like the most recent example in which her advice helped.
Are there any situations in which, I mean, nowadays make you like hear the voice of your mom inside your head? Like she would tell me to do this, or she would say this, or maybe she wouldn't agree on this. You know what I mean?
Um,
Nowadays.
kind of, but it's like I don't know, like I go with my friends and we're getting drunk, and then it's like my mom wouldn't approve of this, but I don't care. but
Naturally.
but no, I don't know. Also, when I'm playing video games and then I see, oh my God, 6 hours have passed. Also, I just
You
think,
can
no,
see her. You can see her with her
hmm
eyebrow raised, like,
with her face, like
oh,
Vestela.
she has. Oh, she makes a face, a signature face.
Yeah, actually, the funny thing is that her face, like when she stares at you, is completely blank. There is no emotion in her face. She's just
Oh,
looking straight at you. And then
like
you go like, oh my God. Exactly. Just like that. And you can hear her thoughts.
that's when he knew. He
Exactly.
Anyone that knows memes knows the rest. Me, I can't say it, but you know what I mean. Wow, 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 wow. Danny, may I ask you the same question as I did to Eric? What is the biggest thing that you learned from your mom?
I would say think about. I would say think about the consequences because
Okay.
she was always very permissive. When I was 18, she even said, "You know what? Don't ask me for permission to do anything. You want to go to a party, go to a party. You want to drink,
Mm,
drink. You want to smoke, smoke. Just think about the consequences. Like if you go to a party and drink too much, think about what can happen. Like you will make a fool of yourself. Yeah, I mean, if you smoke, smoke, but you know that if you smoke too much, there's lung cancer and there's diseases and things happen. So she will go like, do go have fun, do whatever you want. Just think about the consequences. Just be aware of what can happen. So I guess that's what I learned from her, basically.
okay, so now, and what is, mm, it's a two-parter. What is the biggest lesson that being a mother has taught you, and what changes did you go through within you, as in terms of your personality, in terms of behavior? Can you tell me about those changes,
Sure.
please?
The biggest lesson is that I am now a role model. I'm an example to follow. So many of the things that I used to do or say, the way I used to speak, changed drastically because of that. Um, the biggest, or yeah, I would say the biggest lesson is that I am now an example. So I need to be careful because children don't learn words; they learn behaviors. So you have to be very careful. They They will imitate every single thing you do, not that you say, but that you do. And so you have to be very, very careful. What have I changed? I don't play video games 6 hours a day anymore. I don't spend 14 hours watching TV on weekends. So I try to be careful as to what I eat or what I say or what I watch around them. Like my husband and I will watch TV when the kids are already sleeping, for example. We're
Of
like
course.
very careful as to what they should be exposed to and what they shouldn't. So we do pay a lot of attention to that. So uh, parental control. We always check like the rating for movies or series and make sure that they are appropriate for them, or the YouTube channels that they watch, because now that's what they do. If they're appropriate, that sort of stuff. And so I've also learned to adapt my schedule, my habits also. So yeah, that's basically what has changed.
Have you acquired any interests from your kids, for example? I've been waiting for telling. I've been waiting to telling you this. Um, for example, my mom, she would sometimes pick me up from places, and I used to buy CDs because I had to have the art. I love the covers. I love the little book that came inside.
Yeah.
And once in her car, I recently at that time I recently bought a Misfits album, this punk band.
Hmm.
So I put it on. I said, "Please let me listen to it. It's brand new." Okay, and she loved it. She liked it a lot, and to the point where she asked me for the CD. Like, "Hey, I'm going to work. Can I borrow your CD?" Of course, I'm actually between excited and weird about it, but go ahead. So she's a Misfits fan. She's a fiend. That's a they call. That's how the fans are called. And what about you? Have you acquired any tastes or interests because of what your children watch or what they listen to?
Um, Look, more than interests or likes, it's just you get used to stuff. Like I never knew the Disney's princesses' names until my daughter started watching those movies. Like I had never watched Cinderella
Oh,
or Snow White because that was not my interest. But
of course.
since she's so girly and she was like, "Hi, princesses," etc. So that's when I started learning, like their names. Or when she was around 3 years old, that's when Frozen, the movie, came out, and it was crazy. We had to watch it like 20 times a day, every day for months and months. And she would sing the song and wear the dress, etc. And so, yeah, I mean, you get used to that, like last year, or no, before pandemic, with this Baby Shark theme song came out, was a boom, and
I
my kids
think
even danced the song at school in one of the events they organized. And sometimes I will be given my classes and the song will pop out and I will start, "Baby shark doo doo." It's horrible. It's horrible. I hate it, but it happens. I mean, it's part of it,
of course.
um music, I would say music, kids music. They will listen to music for children. And I think it's actually now the opposite. I think my son is taking a lot of interests in my stuff. Like he will ask me to play Metallica for him because I like Metallica, and he will go like, "Mom, can we listen to Metallica?" "Yeah, sure, baby, let's go listen. You have to learn the lyrics." And so he's a huge fan of my music, which I am proud of. And my daughter, Also, my daughter became a fan of reading because when she was a little baby, we started reading the bedtime story. Like, okay, it's time to go to sleep. So every single day, every single night, we would read a story to her. And now she's a bookworm. She's 10 years old, and she's already read all the Harry Potter saga. And she wanted to watch the movies, so the condition was, you want to watch the movies, you have to read the books first. And so she did. And now she's read the books and she's seen the movies twice. So yeah, I think it's been the opposite actually. So yeah,
Yeah, you have done a very good job.
Good work.
I'm
Excellent.
trying hard,
Excellent.
trying hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for sharing that, Danny.
my pleasure.
Eric, Eric, is there a part of your personality or maybe some attitudes that you share with your mom, but that they just popped up? Like you don't know you had it in you, and then like, oh my god, I'm just like my mom in some ways.
That's a very good question. I hadn't thought of that. Um, I think, you know, I like to gossip a lot,
Okay,
and my mom does too.
all
She
right.
didn't teach me that. It just happened. So that's like that's yeah. When my mom and I are together, it's like a lavadero. We start gossiping.
I love that.
But yeah. I think that that part of my personality is something that I do. Uh, and I have to say that probably, I mean, this is a bad habit, but smoking, yeah,
Oh,
she has always smoked since I can remember. So so yeah, I got into that habit in my teens. So
did
I mean, I don't
did
know if
this
it's because of her or it just happened, but we both
did
have that
did
habit.
did this ever happen? Like maybe you saw her smoking, and maybe you were very young, and you wanted to do it, and she would go like, "You can't. I can do it. You can't." It must have happened, right?
No, she
No.
never did that. No. Actually, there is something very funny
Wow.
that happened. When I started, I don't know how old I was. I was a teenager. So
Uh huh.
one day I was in my room watching TV. She came into my room and she said, Eric, I'm out of cigarettes. I know you smoke. Give me one. And I was like, oh my God, like she knows, no?
She
Because
knew her boy.
I had been trying to hide it from her. I mean, obviously the smell, it's impossible to hide. So she knew, but she hadn't told me. So she just went and, come on, give me a cigarette. I don't have any. And I was like, okay. So then I went to the secret place. I took the cigarettes, gave her two. No, like take two, mom. And that was
Okay,
like she didn't scold me, she didn't punish me, nothing.
Danny. How do moms do it? Do that? Like they know something's up, or they always know the things that we keep a secret from them.
Oh yeah,
Somehow
no,
they always
yeah,
know.
it's a mom thing. I don't know. I really have no explanation, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's the bond. I don't know if it's
Okay.
nature. I really don't know how to explain this. I'll go with Gustavo and I will constantly say, Gus, can you pull that out of your mouth? And he'll go like, well, you're not even looking. How do you know? Like, I'm your mom. I know you stick stuff into your mouth, so pull it out. Come on. And he'll be very surprised. Or my daughter. I will go sometimes like, so how did it go with your friend? How did you know? How did you know? I'm like, well, I know you. I mean,
I
come
know.
on, thing. I know because I'm your mom.
Oh
But
my
I
god.
never told you this before. Well, no, but I'm your mom, so I'm supposed to know. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh
I have
man.
a very crazy story about that.
Go.
I still can, nobody can explain this. Many
Okay.
years ago, my sister went to a party without permission. Not only did she go without permission, but my father had told her that she couldn't go.
Okay.
She escaped. She went to the party without permission. My dad called my mom to ask if she was there. And my mom was like, no, I haven't seen her, but I will find her. She found her. She didn't know where the party was. She didn't know whose party it was. She just got in the car and started driving. Then she heard a party there and she was like, she's there. She knocked the door. Is Geraldine here? Yes, she is. And then my sister came out and she was like, what? And then when she came back home with my sister, was like, what? It was as if she had a GPS with my sister's location. I have no idea how she did it.
And this was probably before social media, before Google Maps, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, it's useless to hide stuff from your mothers.
Mhm.
Somehow, either they already know or they will find out eventually. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. And I'm a perfect example for from it. There was no way I could ever like hit anything from her. From my tattoos, from the first time I went to a party and drink, being underage, of course, she would always find out. It didn't matter how hard I tried, they would always find out. But thank you so much, guys, for sharing everything that you did, for taking your time, and for being here. Danny, thank you so much for taking time from. I know you have many stuff to do and you have a tight schedule, but everything that you share with us, I thought it was lovable, and I loved seeing your kids passing by through the
Thank you.
camera.
No, thank you for inviting me. It was my pleasure. So hope to see you more often. And yeah, being a mom rocks. It's very scary, but it's wonderful. It's really cool to see your kids grow, change, learn, adapt. It's a good thing. It's rewarding.
And you're doing a kick-ass job.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Thank you very much.
Oh, oh, thank you, Eric. Thank you so much for all. You're always in the controls, and now you're showing yourself. And thank you so much for being here, man. Thank you so much, and thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in. This was Danny. This was Eric. I was Mike, and I must bid you adieu. Goodbye and good night.